everyone, it's Clarice, and this is Clarice Reads, and my birthday happened last September, and ever since then I've been saying I'm gonna put up my birthday book haul. I'm gonna do it soon, maybe in like a month. I'll do it soon, I promise, and I never got around to it, and now it's freaking January. Now I'm finally getting around to it, but I figured it's way too late to just make it my birthday book haul, so I figured I might as well include Christmas, and while I'm at it, might as well include all the books that I bought between my birthday and the end of 2016. So that's what I'm going to do today. First, I'm gonna talk about birthday books. Specifically, birthday books that I got for myself. I got all of these from the Manila International Book Fair, and all of them are also comics. First, I got myself Black Sad Volume 2, Black Sad A Silent Hell. I also got myself Black Sad Volume 3, which is Black Sad Amarillo, and both of these are by Juan Diaz Canales, who is a Spanish author. I also got myself Kare Kare Comics by Andrew Gilon, who is Filipino. I've read all of these already, and I talked about them in various wrap-ups, so I'll try to link those down below. I also got Battle Royale from my friend Austin. I also got Inside Out from my dad, who, for my last few birthdays and Christmases, has been giving me and my twin brother non-fiction books. I also got Arcadia from Katie, which was like the only book I've ever received from a friend that I met through the internet, and so it was really great because, I don't know, I'm just excited that that happened. And I'm sorry, Katie, if I took so long figuring out what address you could send it to. Thank you for being patient with me, and thank you so much for this book. I also got a gift card to Fully Booked from my ninang, and if you don't know, ninang means godmother in Filipino. And using that gift card, I bought Dune by Frank Herbert, and this like really beautiful edition. When I bought it, I just couldn't stop staring at it. Even the back looks nice, and I find it cool that it's all basically the same shape, and they just rotated it in certain ways where it looks like it's spelling Jude. I don't know. I was just amused, and this is beautiful. Those are technically all the books I got for my birthday. There were other books I ordered from Book Depository that had arrived before my birthday, but soon we got a letter from Customs saying that they were at Customs. It took a while to get them because other stuff was happening in my life, and the books that I ordered for my birthday were just the least of my concerns. But what I had ordered from Book Depository for my birthday were essentially some of my favorite books that I just happened to not have owned in physical copies. When we eventually got to Customs, we saw that the Mistborn box set was there. And I don't think it was a surprise that it ended up at Customs because it was in a box that was like 6 to 8 times this size and just filled with bubble wrap, which I'm glad they did because the box wasn't damaged. But I guess if you saw a box that big, you would probably think it were suspicious. But anyway, I finally got the Mistborn box set because initially I had read the series as an ebook, but it's actually my favorite series ever. And so I decided to buy them in the UK editions, which are beautiful. If for whatever reason you hadn't seen them yet, here are the covers. Here's the first book, The Final Empire. Here is the second book, The Well of Ascension. Third book, The Hero of Ages. They are beautiful, and I'm so glad that I own them. And as I filmed this, I'm actually currently rereading the first book, and I'm so excited about it. But as I said, those are the only books in Customs, and I had ordered more books, so I contacted Book Depository asking them, hey, where are my other books? And then they said they'd resend them. And then eventually I received them. I received the first 4 books in the Old Man's War series. At the time, I'd read the first 2 and loved them, so I figured might as well get these 2. And I'd never actually seen physical copies of Old Man's War here, and I thought they looked amazing, so I ordered them. But actually, I guess something went wrong with the shipping, because aside from these, I actually received an extra copy of Old Man's War and The Last Colony and Zoe's Tale. And so I decided I would sell them, but now it's strange to sell them because I never received an extra copy of the second book. So what, I'll sell the first, third, fourth books even though I don't know where anyone can buy the second book. I'll think about what to do with them, but now I have like all of these. But aside from the Old Man's War series and the Mistborn series, I also finally have a copy of Ready Player One. This is one of the first books I read when I was introduced to BookTube, and it's also one of my favorite books, and it's also the most fun book I've ever read that I'm recommending constantly to people. But as with Mistborn and as with the Old Man's War series, I read it on the Kindle first, and I've never actually seen a hardcover copy of this in the Philippines. I always see the paperbacks with the like stacks as the cover, and I don't particularly like that cover. So I ordered this, and I received it. I didn't get a second copy of it though, but I'm just glad that I finally own Ready Player One. But aside from the books that I ordered from Book Depository, there were also some other books that I acquired in the last months of 2016 that were some of my favorite books that I didn't have physical copies of. I was also able to buy the second and third volumes of the Master Editions of Locke and Key, which is my favorite comic series ever, and I read it like digitally as well. So I didn't own these. I already owned the first volume for a while, but I was finally able to get the second and third, and now it's complete. And finally, in the category of favorite books that I was finally able to buy physical copies of, I also have The Book Thief, which I already actually had a physical copy of, but I had to give away for reasons. So I took it as an opportunity to buy the 10th anniversary edition, which is beautiful. Aside from those, there were some other books that I also bought after my birthday but before Christmas. I bought Sweet Tooth, the deluxe edition, book 1, which I actually bought the same time that I bought Dune, but I didn't have enough gift card money, so I bought this with my own money. In terms of digital books, I also bought The Vision volumes 1 and 2, as well as The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and The Forever War, which I was actually able to buy for like 25 cents on the Kindle. Now moving on to Christmas, I got a few books for Christmas, all of which were actually unexpected because I hadn't planned to get myself any books for Christmas or ask for any books for Christmas because I'm trying to go through my TBR, but I'm so glad for these books anyway. I got Red Seas Under Red Skies for my friend Al's, which I was actually able to read before the year ended because I was really excited to get to it, so thank you, Al's. I also got Something to Smile About from my thesis advisor, which was the most unexpected thing because I didn't expect my thesis advisor to get me anything, and then she gave all of us like these tiny books. I don't know, I just appreciate it a lot. My parents also surprised me with a couple of books that I was so excited about. They got me Arcanum Unbounded, which actually wasn't a total surprise because my mom bought this while I was with her at the bookstore. I saw it and I saw Brandon Sanderson's name on it, and I'd never heard of this book at all, and I was like, I need to buy that. And then my mom just took it from me and told me that she was gonna give it to me for Christmas, so I didn't need to pay for it. So thank you so much, Mom. It's basically a collection of short stories, all set in the Cosmere of Brandon Sanderson. Inside it has like this symbol. I need to search for what that symbol means, and it's nice in the spine and it's blue. And look at the end pages. I didn't expect this to have nice end pages, but it does. And I remember flipping through it and I saw that there was actually a comic in here, so I'm really curious about that. Anyways, you probably know and are sick of me saying Brandon Sanderson's my favorite author, and so obviously I'm really excited to read this. And another book my parents decided to give me, which I was also really excited to get to, so excited to get to that I've already read it, was Sounds Like Me by Sarah Bareilles, which is obviously a memoir by Sarah Bareilles. And basically, Sarah Bareilles is one of my favorite singers, and now after I've read this book, she's probably just one of my favorite humans in general. So those were the only 4 books that I got for Christmas, but soon after that, I ended up buying a couple more books, which technically weren't books for Christmas, but just books that caught up and I bought before the end of the year. The first of those is Homegoing by Yagyashi, which I bought on the Kindle, which I've also already read, and it's also really good. And I also bought Science Fiction, Filipino Fiction for Young Adults, which is a collection of short stories by Filipino authors, which are all sci-fi and young adult stories, and I've also already read this book. Actually, there's one more book that I got for Christmas, and I forgot about it because technically I received it just a few days ago, but it's also technically a Christmas gift that just came late, and that book is The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde by Junot Diaz. This actually came from my professor, which was actually a big surprise. He's a professor that a lot of me and my friends are really close to. Actually, when I got this, I said immediately, I've already read this, and he's like, oh, and I said, no, it's okay, I borrowed it from the library, I don't own it yet, so it's okay. But anyway, I'm just so surprised to have received this, and I really appreciate that he gave this to me. So I guess we're done. Those are all the books that I received and bought from my birthday till the end of the year. What's a book that you got recently, possibly for Christmas, that you're most excited to get to? Please tell me about it in the comment section down below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!